Hey. I think it's like 4 Hays. Ashley here, talking about animal abuse for We Deliver News. Um, I guess I'm gonna give you my views on animal abuse. Maybe a story. I remember being like 8, and we lived next to this house, and he always had dogs. He had a junky house and a really junky yard, and he kept a lot of junk in his yard. And he thought it was his prized possessions or something, so that's why he had dogs. He had one dog named Sheba, who he trained to be vicious, so vicious, since the day he got her. Like, you couldn't even walk by the yard without her, like, acting like she was gonna break through her chain and fucking kill you and maul you to pieces. Like, she was vicious, like, the type of vicious where kids were scared to even walk by the yard. And then he had another dog named Rex. He didn't name that dog. He actually called that dog, pardon my language, shithead. He would just call that dog shithead or effer, etc., etc. He didn't name it because he didn't like that dog. And me and my mom would sneak that dog treats and stuff because he was actually very friendly. He would come to the fence and lick our hands, and we'd give him food because that guy didn't really feed him. He starved him, so the dog would be hungry. And then I live in a city where we get winter, and it gets very cold during the winter here in Winnipeg. Animals do not survive when it's minus 38, minus 40, minus 45. They tend to freeze to death. And I guess Rex, the dog that we named Rex, the one that he didn't like at all because he couldn't make it vicious, I guess. I guess he did something that pissed off Terry or whatever, and he sprayed him with a hose one winter night and left him out there because he didn't bring the dog in the house. He just had a little shitty dog house to sleep in, day out, 24/7, 365 days a year. Anyway, he sprayed him with a hose one night and he froze to death. And one day when we woke up to feed Rex, Rex wasn't there. And when we asked him about it later on, my uncle or someone asked him, because me and my mom didn't like the guy and we wouldn't talk to him, but I guess my uncle could talk to him sometimes about car stuff and shit. And then he asked him, oh, what happened to Rex? And he just said, oh, he ended up dying or something, I don't know, but we know what happened. And we called Animal Protective Services on him a bunch of times, and he would watch and wait for the van to be parked around the corner or by his house, and he would know when they were watching him, and he wouldn't treat them that bad. But he was still treating them bad, and it's like they just didn't do anything. There's a few other places like that I remember calling animal services, and they would go look at the house, but they never ever take the animals out of the house. It was really sad. So there's that story of animal abuse, and then I can go with we've never abused animals in my house. They've always been like family to us. So I was raised with respect for animals when I was really young, probably like 1, 2, or 3 when you first learn to pet animals. I just remember my mom teaching me to be gentle. And ever since she taught me, I was gentle with animals. I was never one of the kids that always had to pick them up and make them run away from you. Like when you have animals and a kid comes over and they run at your animal and they pick it up and they scare the shit out of your animal, that really pisses me off. Because parents should be teaching their kids respect for animals, especially when it's a strange animal. You don't want a strange dog or cat biting or scratching your kid, because it's really not their fault when you're coming into their territory and you're scaring them. Um, you should actually be teaching your kids to be more respectful of animals and not to just touch strange animals, and to be gentle. An animal is used to people reaching out their hand and the sniff test and then an animal will come to you after that, especially a cat. You can't be very aggressive towards a cat. They're not a dog. You should be calm and let them approach you, let them sniff you, and then they'll come to you more after that. A dog, sometimes you can be like, oh, you can be a little bit more excited, you know what I mean? But even like strange dogs, you should ask the owner first, may I pet your dog? Is your dog friendly? Does your dog bite? Can my kid pet your dog? Just the basics. Like, I think it's common sense, and if it's not, then you need to get some fucking pardon my language, you need to get some common sense. And because animals are not just animals, we choose to have them in our lives: cats, dogs, birds, gerbils, hamsters, lizards, whatever it may be. We choose to take care of them and take on the responsibility of having an animal in our life. So you got to treat that as a responsibility and have respect for that, like it is your own family member or your own kid. I had a lot of respect for my animals, and they were family. We have a cat. We have cats right now, but I used to have dogs. Um, I wouldn't allow people blowing smoke in my animals' faces or to be mean to my animal, and I would actually kick them out of my home if someone was inappropriate with my animal, if they were very rude to my dog or rude in general to my animals. They can get out of my house. They don't belong there. This is that animal's house. This is their home where they're supposed to be safe and taken care of. And if you're going to come into my home and say, oh, I got cat hair on my pants, or get your cat away from me, or can you move your cat from the couch? I don't think so. You can sit on the floor, or you can find another seat. That cat was here first, and that cat, or that dog, or that bunny deserves respect. And no one should be abusing animals. And if you do see animal abuse, please, please Google the proper place to report it to. Look in your yellow pages and your white pages. Call whatever directory assistance you have in your city or your town and try to report it. Try just for that animal's sake. So, hey, hey, hey.